Hey everyone, welcome to week 6. It's Monday morning and I just wanted to check in to talk about the work you did last week, what's coming up this week, and just say hello. So last week I did grade all of Essay 1 and by far the majority of the class did great. There were lots of, A's and B's, some C's. If you scored less than a C, you can revise this essay. Just email me for more information. Please do make sure you check to see if I entered any comments in the assignment box, like where you uploaded your essay and where you see your grade. And also any of the feedback that I give on these essays, you can view it. There's a couple steps you have to take. So I'm going to be posting this link. It's from the student guide in Canvas. And, how do I view annotation feedback, comments from my professor, right, from my instructor. So what you do is you go to grades, and then the list comes up of all the assignments that we've done so far, and you'll see, how many points the assignment was worth, how many you earned. So you click on the title of the assignment. So this would say Essay 1. And then a page like this should show up. It'll say submission details, the name of the paper. It'll have your name, the date, the time you submitted it, comments if I left them, etc. A link, because you were likely using Microsoft Word. And then this is what you need to click. Click View Feedback. Okay. And then what you'll get a preview here. It should open up. So like I use these different features in Canvas when I grade. I might use the little the insert arrow. I certainly strike through. I outline things or cross out things. I might just start using text. I might highlight. And for each of those, then there might be an option where I added a comment in the margin. So to see those marginal notes, this is how you have to access it, right? So again, you go to grades, click on the assignment, and then click view feedback. This will pop up. And then, as you can see, you can reply to my comments. You can download the file. This is the icon if you wanted to download it and print it out if you wanted to. Or you can just, read it in Canvas. Okay. All right. So that's Essay 1. So how to view feedback. We showed you that this week. Okay. So this week, the biggest thing this week, right, is to work on the rough draft of Essay 2 for the introduction paragraph. Not the whole essay, just the introduction paragraph. And we know an introduction should have a hook, some development, and then close with a thesis statement. And the thesis should address the prompt, right? So we're going to look at the essay in just a moment. Reading assignments, we're continuing in the chapter How We Work. So we're reading Badger, McClellan, and Rose. Please note Mac McClellan's article does use some mature language. I think all three of these students generally really tend to like these essays. McClellan's is a longer piece. It was the cover story of a magazine. There's also a supplementary reading this week. It features women who worked as wait staff at a diner here in Philadelphia. It was the cover story of Time magazine when it came out maybe 2 years ago. That's just supplementary if you think it would be useful. And the big assignment again is the rough draft of the introduction paragraph of Essay 2. No discussion board this week. We'll take a little break, and I'm going to say a thing about the discussion board in just a moment. So Essay 2, it's a longer piece, right? We're looking for final draft will be 4 to 5 pages. Of course, we're following MLA guidelines in terms of font. 3 sources. So you have to respond to one of the authors from the book, from the section How We Work. And then you're finding 2 more sources on your own. And I urge you to take advantage of our librarian, Nikki Karam. There is a module in here, and you can also reach out to her, one-on-one if you need assistance. But essentially what you're doing here is you're choosing one of the selections from the chapter. Pick someone who you feel like you really understand what it is that they're saying, right? And you're thinking about whether or not you think that their argument is, or their thesis is persuasive, right? Are they making a good point? Do they back it up well? Things like that. Then you're going to find 2 more sources, right, that either support or refute the author's claim. Okay, so let's say that you choose an article from the book and the author is saying that, let's go with Mike Rose, okay, working class brilliance. Essentially, he's arguing that while society might look at certain, wage jobs as not requiring a lot of mental dexterity, such as waitstaff. That's not true, right? He's pushing back on this stereotype that we might have about, someone who works retail or someone who works, in a restaurant as waitstaff, what we think about their intelligence level, right? He's pushing back on that. And so maybe you agree with him. Maybe you think that it does require a lot of mental, and emotional intelligence to do these jobs, right? Blue collar jobs. So you would then find 2 more sources outside of the book, right? Again, using maybe our librarian for help, that either support what Mike Rose is saying or challenge him, right? So that's the paper. That's the whole paper. As I say here, you can briefly reflect on your own workplace experiences to respond to the author's claim if it makes sense, right? If it's relevant. If not, you don't have to include yourself at all. And again, the bulk of the evidence should not be first person. What this essay is asking you to do as a writer and thinker and scholar is to pick an essay from the book, read it thoroughly, understand it, see what the author is saying, think about whether whether you think that they're correct or incorrect, and then find 2 more sources that either support or refute the author's claim. Okay. I did make some minor adjustments to the rubric from last time, so you can look through that if you'd like. Nothing significant, just kind of expanded a little bit some of the criteria descriptions. Okay, last thing that I want to point out is from last week's discussion board. I did go ahead and put some comments in there, so if you get those notifications, you might see I responded to something you said. Excellent work on the discussion board. In particular, I think, I saw Yari did use a video, which was cool. Other really strong responses came from Crystal, Heaven, Patrick. I think everyone really had a lot to say about this essay from Barbara Ehrenreich. A few people maybe didn't really hone in on what she was saying. I think some of the comments veered into other territory. But that's okay. I mean, you still got the full points as long as you responded to a classmate, you got the 10 points. If you didn't respond to a classmate, you got 5 points. And what was also interesting, though, in some of these posts was some people started to explore, like, well, why is it that the government and these, private equity or, lending firms can do what they do? Why is it that no one really kind of, fights this, this mistreatment, or I think, someone termed it a disjustice, right? Or an injustice. And the why started to that was kind of interesting because some of you started to talk about how we as a society don't necessarily view the poor or people living in poverty as human, that we might not view them as someone worthy of our time. There were specific mentions and references to folks who in our society who are unhoused, meaning they do not have homes, right? And that we just are dismissive of that experience, and so it was interesting to see some of those comments and conversations play out as well. So that's about it. Oh, one more quick thing. I'm sorry. I did ask, the midterm sort of, or not midterm, the 20% survey that I asked everyone to take. Some people said one thing they don't like is Flipgrid. So I created this survey and said, well, what do you want to do, right? Do we want to stick with Flipgrid? Do we want to switch entirely to the Canvas, or do we want to alternate? And in this class, the majority thought that alternating between the Canvas discussion board where you type, or as you already did, you can upload a video. And then Flipgrid, which we're all familiar with Flipgrid. We use that the first couple weeks of the term. So we're going to start alternating. Again, this week there is no discussion board, but moving to next week, week 7, we'll be back. We'll do a Flipgrid, and then the next time we have a discussion, it'll be on Canvas, etc. So please let me know if you have any questions. I think that's everything I wanted to say. Everyone's doing a great job. We're moving through October here. If you have questions about Essay 2, let me know. If you got less than a C in Essay 1 and want to revise, please email me. That's it. Have a great week. And I'm still working on grading some of your other assignments. And this week, the biggest thing really is to, identify do the readings, identify which author from this chapter, How We Work, you're going to be responding to, and then writing that introduction draft. Okay, so it's trying to make it a not too many tasks, but the tasks here are they're going to take time, right? So like I said, email me if you have questions, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye bye.